Hey, what's going on, guys? Nathan here with a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary here covering the patch notes slash update for February 7th, 2014, which was 2 days ago. Might be a little bit late on this, but it's better late than never, as I always say. Actually, I'm just kidding, I don't always say that. Either way, though, we are going to hop right in here. So there are, let me count here, 7 weapons that were updated, along with a quote-unquote fix, so actually 6 weapons that were updated, and a quote-unquote fix, which I'll cover later, if you can see my air quotes. So anyway, the first weapon that was updated was the shortstop. So now you have reduced extra knockback penalty from 80% to 40%. Now, if you don't know, the shortstop kind of became a gimmick weapon when it got a complete overhaul, where you took extra, like, you got whipped around the map, basically, if you got hit by, like, a rocket, or, like, a sentry or a pyro air blast, which, anything that involves your movement, you just got whipped around because that was just part of how the weapon functioned, and, I wouldn't consider this either a buff or a nerf, because you know, the shortstop is just kind of one of those weapons that you use for fun, and now that you're not getting whipped around the map as much, like, I would consider that a pro for the shortstop. But if you wanted to be super tryhard with it, I suppose it would be a buff, because now you don't get whipped around. So it depends on how you use the shortstop, but either way, that's just kind of a whatever kind of buff. And yeah, that's that. So next weapon is the short circuit. Now you no longer gain metal from dispensers when you have the short circuit out, which is very good. Basically, now people cannot just stand next to their dispenser and keep spamming their short circuit, because that was annoying and it was rather cheap. So that's awesome. As a very appropriate nerf, I would say, and obviously you can't just take away gain metal at all, because you're an engineer and engineers need metal. So very appropriate nerf right there. The next weapon here is the Cleaner's Carbine. So when you get a kill now, you get mini crits for 8 seconds instead of crits for 3 seconds, which is very good. It's a good balance overall. I wouldn't consider it either a buff or a nerf either, depending on how good you are as a sniper, because you might be able to make use of a little bit of extra damage for a longer period of time than a super amount of damage in a very small period of time. Personally, I like mini crits over crits any day, because crits to me feel so cheap because they do extra damage for basically nothing. Like, it's you just get extra damage, and to me that's never really been balanced. So anything that has to do with taking crits out of the game, I would be for, obviously other than the crits Craig. But yeah, so I'm a huge fan of mini crits, and the 8 seconds I would like personally as a sniper, because, you know, I'm not one who can find somebody and get a headshot on them. Well, maybe a body shot, being I have crits, but like, in that 3-second time period, I can't, like, line up a shot. You know, maybe I just have too much pressure going on me to line up a shot and get a kill. But so yeah, I'm a fan of that 8 seconds now, so I can, you know, make more use of the boost. Now, the next weapon here is the Natasha, and this is kind of a weird buff, I would say. You now have plus 50% extra ammo with the Natasha, meaning you have 300 bullets instead of 200. And I believe the Natasha has a slower firing rate than the minigun anyway, so you won't really be running out of ammo at all as heavy, especially in pubs where ammo is very plentiful. I would say this is kind of like a slapped-on buff. Like, it really doesn't have any place. The only real usefulness I saw in this buff was in Man vs. Machine, perhaps, when you are, I mean, the Natasha overall is a decent, I suppose, heavy choice, because it slows down the robots, and if you want extra ammo, make sure that you aren't running out of bullets, then I suppose this would be kind of a buff for you. So I don't know, just kind of a weird buff overall for that one. Next up, we have the reserve shooter. Now you have a 4 magazine size instead of 3, and the second note here I don't really understand. It says time to mini crit airborne targets change from 3 to 5, and I don't know if that's in seconds. I don't really know what this measurement is right here, whether it's, you know, seconds of a target being airborne, so I'm just gonna stay away from that one and talk about the magazine size instead. I'm very happy with this, more because the reserve shooter it really just can't compete with the shotgun, especially on like Soldier, where you're really just looking for damage output. Pyro is kind of a different story. I think the reserve shooter is definitely better than the shotgun now on Pyro, because you're like, if you can remember to use your reserve shooter and get those mini crits, it is pretty much better than the shotgun now, because you can just get out so much damage with the degreaser reserve shooter combo. So that's definitely good. The difference between 3 shells and 4 shells can mean the difference of life or death in a lot of situations. So still not sure about Soldier though. I'm just always been a fan of the shotgun, and having that 6 shots is very important in a lot of situations. So still not sure on the Soldier, but definitely on Pyro I'm going to be running the reserve shooter now. So pretty much an appropriate balance, I would say. Next, and almost last, we have the Beggars Bazooka, which changed from cannot gain ammo from dispensers, period, to cannot gain ammo from dispensers when you have the Beggars Bazooka out. Which means that if you switch to like your shotgun or your equalizer or whatever you have out, you can gain ammo for your rockets from dispensers, which to me is kind of dumb. I don't really like this at all, because I'm just not a fan of the Beggars Bazooka. I think it's a cheap weapon that is, I don't know, it just doesn't take a lot of skill to use. I mean, you can load up 3 rockets around the corner, and if enemies happen to be there, you basically get free kills. So I'm just not a fan of this weapon, and I thought it was fine before, where people would have to scrounge around the map for ammo packs to get ammo, and I think it should stay that way. So not really a fan of this, but hey, what can you do? And that's pretty much that. And then finally we have the quick fix, which is a quote-unquote fix, if you can see my air quotes there. So fix the medic not gaining the proper speed boost when a demo man uses a charge and dodge or spend its screen. And the reason why I am suspicious in saying this is a fix is that there have been quite a few opportunities for this quote-unquote fix to happen to the quick fix, and just now they just noticed that, oh, the medic is supposed to have a speed boost, or follow the movement speed of their heal target, but like just now it's like, oh, we never thought about putting it with the charge and charge or splendid screen. So I don't know, it's just kind of weird, like just kind of suspicious how all of a sudden now, after how many months, they decide to put that speed boost with the demo man. So I don't know, whatever on that one. I'm fine with it. Quick fix isn't that big of a deal. Well, I mean, it is in competitive level, but regardless, it's not something I'm concerned with at the moment. And that's pretty much all the weapons that were updated. I think there were a couple hats introduced into the game. I really want that new snake bandana that came out. I think it's called like the Deep Operator's Cover or something along those lines. So really want to get that. Might just buy it with whatever I have sitting around in my backpack, and I'm gonna look badass. So that will pretty much wrap up today's video. Thank you all for watching as always, and if you could leave a rating on this video, it'd be very appreciated. And if you do enjoy my content, then feel free to subscribe, and I will see you all later.